With over 400 celebrity interviews and tons of pop culture nerdiness, Too Opinionated is a safe haven for your inner geek. Find us at meistercon.com or on YouTube under MeisterCon Pod. And please subscribe. It would really help us out. Thanks, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. Super excited today. I've got actress, writer, producer, Gabrielle Bourne. So welcome, Gabrielle.
Thank you for having me.
You know, I got tied up on Bourne because in my head right then, it just hit me. I was like, I wonder if that came up when you met Matt Damon.
Yes, it did. The original Bourne, although I'm not the original because that's my married name.
Yeah.
But I got lucky.
That's not bad because I don't think I've ever met anybody with that last name.
Yeah, I know. It's actually my husband's family is from Sweden originally, and when they moved to the US, their name was Bjornfelt, but they wanted to take a more kind of American sounding name, so they went with Bourne. And
it's a good choice.
It's a great choice.
Bjorn Belt, I don't know that sounds as kind of action spy type.
Yeah, no, not quite. Not quite as much.
Your husband's kind of a badass too, though.
He is.
Yeah. Can you play volleyball?
I cannot play volleyball. I'll play for fun once in a while, but I leave that to him. I love to watch now. I've gotten really into watching beach volleyball, but no, I don't play.
There's some really incredible athletes.
It's ridiculous what they do with their bodies.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I could. Mine would not stand the constant pounding on the sand.
Well, they say it's easier, or your body will last longer jumping on sand than it will on hardwood because it's less of an impact, but it's definitely a lot harder running in. Like I can, I don't know, get an inch off the sand when I jump. I don't know how these
well, it's hard to run in sand.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
Yeah. Did you play any sports growing up?
I did, but you know, when you're in school, you kind of have to choose between sports and theater, and you know, for as far as after school activities. So I always picked theater. So I stopped early on. I played softball up until my freshman year of high school, but then it was too much.
It gets a little tough to do both once you hit high school, I think.
Yeah, yes.
Because they conflict.
Yes.
Yeah. See, I made the choice early on because I was always a baseball, player growing up.
Oh, yeah.
But there was a time there in elementary school where I was actually decent at the recorder. You know, they give you the recorder to play. So I went through all the practices and I got into all county chorus to play this when I was in the 5th grade. Well, I went through all the practices, but then the actual choral festival was on the night I had a baseball game. I chose the baseball game.
Oh, yeah.
That was the end of my outside endeavors.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. The recorder, that's fun. Yeah. No, I was into music too. I played the guitar growing up. I played the electric guitar.
Oh, that's pretty good.
But I haven't picked it up in a while. I still have it, but it just
You didn't pick it back up in 2020 when we were just stuck at home?
The wall. Well, no, because I had a 1-year-old during that time.
Oh, yeah. You're busy.
It's different for parents during that time. You don't get to pick up a hobby.
No, you got to be like everything.
Yeah.
Because there's no break.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. I've got some young grandkids and they exhaust me. Like on Fridays, I take, there's 4 of them right now, soon to be 5, but I'll take all 4 of them and watch them for the day. So that's my kind of pop all day. And I love it. But by 3 or 4 o'clock, I am dragging.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's so much energy.
It's exhausting.
It's tiring. Yeah, it's tiring. I feel for all the kids because they're doing it, 24 hours. But I guess, that's what we all did at one time, or like you're doing now. everybody goes through it, and hopefully you go through it young enough that you can survive it. Because as you get older, you're not built to stay up late and constant movement, with no breaks. It's just, I don't know, it's a tough job.
I agree.
So Gabrielle, let's start this way. Tell me a little bit about what got you interested in acting, what got you into the entertainment business.
Mm-hmm. So, I was living in London when I was 11 or 12, and I was going to the American school in London, and I was in an acting class in school, and I just kind of fell in love with it. I started taking an acting class outside of school in London on every Saturday. And then my acting teacher happened to be an agent, so she started sending me out on auditions all the time. And I don't know, something about it. I just fell in love with it. I kept doing it. I then moved to New Jersey. I was driving into New York City every weekend to take class and audition. And then I decided to audition for colleges. And I ended up somehow miraculously getting into the BFA acting program at USC. And yeah, I think I've just kind of always been interested in how people are kind of born into completely different circumstances and lives. And I think that it's such a cool tool to like find a way in to what other people are going through or experiencing. And I think like compassion and empathy is so important. And I just love that that's what movie and TV brings to people's lives, is like a way to see into humanity and what other people are going through.
Yeah, I think that's why we all love it so much.
Yeah.
It's escapism.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty great. So when you were just getting started, were you doing theater? Were you doing commercials? How did you get into it?
Yeah, I was doing theater in school, growing up, and then I'd be doing, I did commercials once in a while, and middle school, high school. That was kind of how it all started. And then I didn't get into TV and film until I moved out to LA in college and after. But that's always kind of been what I wanted to do, more TV and film than theater.
Yeah. That's interesting, because I think most actors are the reverse. They're always saying, I'd love to be doing theater, but I keep getting these movies.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. What a problem to have. No, they're so different, and I have so much respect for theater actors, but I think I don't love repetition as much. Like even in my day-to-day life, I like things to be changing every day. I like to do things differently all the time. And so it's kind of fun to show up on set and every day you're doing something completely different. Whereas, theater actors kind of have to find a way to bring new life to the same thing day after day. And it's such an impressive thing to be able to do.
I think it is. And some of them stay in those roles for long periods.
For long months, years even. Yeah. It's wild to me.
Yeah, that it would be difficult not to say the lines. You'd get those at some point, but to say it the same each time, to make it, seem real for each different audience. That's impressive.
You have to make it feel like the first time every time. Yeah.
I think that'd be tough. I think that'd be tough. Yeah. So I know you're like a savant with the home, improvement projects and making things. How did that come?
Yeah, it's like one of those random things that I couldn't really tell you how it originated. I guess it started after college. I was renting this apartment from this like 90-year-old Holocaust survivor. She was the sweetest old lady. And we had these old kitchen cabinets, and I asked her if I could refinish them for her. And she, you know, she paid for the supplies, and I went for it. And I just, you know, then I think my uncle gave me an old miter saw that he wasn't using anymore. And I got it super into woodworking, and, you know, we bought our first house, and I was, you know, building furniture. And then I kind of saw it as a way to get out of bartending and dog walking, as I was doing kind of on the side of acting. And I started building custom furniture for people and refinishing their furniture. And I just like snowballed, and I became obsessed with it. And then it became my dream to fix up a whole house. And I bought Fixer Upper for Dummies, and read my way through it. And then finally, about 2 years ago, the dream came true. We bought like a really, really old 1950s duplex that needed everything done. And I just kind of worked my way through it one space at a time, learning I was doing things for the first time along the way. I learned to tile a wall in my kitchen. I built the kitchen, you know, put together all the cabinets, leveled them, did all the things, and learned to drywall. And I've just become obsessed with it. I love it so much.
I think acting's such a difficult job, so I'm always really impressed with actors. But that's so foreign to me because I'm the least handy person. I'm so impressed with somebody that can actually do all, especially when you're teaching yourself, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always been interested in how things are made. So I guess it's that curiosity of like, well, this has to be done somehow. Somebody knows how to do it. So why can't I figure it out too?
You know, once you figure that out though and do it, then people are going to find out that you do it, and they're going to constantly be asking you to fix things.
Oh, I know they do already, but it's so much fun. I love being that person for people. And yeah, I kind of have this rule now whenever like, you know, something's happens to the house where I need to call like a plumber or an electrician or whatever, fix something. I'm like, I'm only allowed to call them for each problem once. After that, I should be watching them and learn it. Like, you know, otherwise I'm just throwing my money down the drain if I'm having them come to a problem that I can learn how to fix myself, and then we'll know how to do it forever.
This is how bad I am fixing things up. I'll tell you, this is I've had many embarrassing stories, but this is the worst. So I had a garbage disposal that quit working.
Common problem.
Right. Well, I had no clue how to fix it. You know, I did what I could. I flipped it on and off. It didn't. So I called the guy. He comes out. It's like $150 just for him to show up. Yeah. And he just reaches under the cabinet and pushes the button to reset. So, okay. So I was like, this was back, you know, $150. You know, I was newly out of college and stuff. It was a hit. That was a hit back then. I was like, oh man. So the bad part of the story is 6 months later, the same thing happens. And I completely forgot all of this, that I called the guy, that the button was there, all that. Same guy comes back, reaches under the cabinet, pushes the button, $150. I was like, so after that, I just stuck a sign on it and said, push the button, dummy.
Smart. That is so smart. Yeah, no, that's exactly this is the perfect example.
Such a slow learner.
Where it's like, okay, the first time, maybe it would have taken me too long. Like, you can, you know, now these days you can Google everything. So you can Google, you know, my disposal's not working, what's wrong with it? And, you know, the first time it kind of takes a long time. So sometimes your time is more valuable than the amount of time that you would money that you would spend calling someone to fix it. But once in a while, you know.
See, I'm of the version, it's like, just take my money, just fix it.
Yeah.
I don't have to fool with it.
Sometimes I go there.
I don't believe you. I think you fix
it. I try.
I mean, what's the project that you haven't done yet that you want to try?
Well, I'm actually, it's in line. My next project, I'm doing a stone veneer. So I've done tiling, right? So this is the same concept of working with mortar, but it's an actual really thick, big, like a stone wall on the exterior of our
Oh,
house.
yeah.
So I'm really excited. I've been meaning to start for the last few weeks, but things have been a little crazy with all the air stuff. But I'm gonna start it next week is my plan now, and I'm really excited.
Exciting. How do you keep your hands from getting all beat up?
Well, yeah, no, my hands get beat up. I always laugh because once in a while I'll get like a commercial audition or something where it's like must have nice hands, and I'll have just finished a project and I'll have a gash like going through my finger or something like that. But I should wear gloves more. I get that comment a lot because I'm sharing a lot of my projects now on Instagram, and I do get that comment a lot. Like, what are you? Why are you demoing that fence without gloves? What is wrong with you? And so I'm learning. I do have gloves now that I need to wear, and I did wear them when I did my mortar, but I need to be better about it, about protecting the hand. I always
Well,
joke.
it's you do that type stuff and it makes your hands so dry.
It does. Yeah, no, my hands recover quickly, luckily. Maybe they look like crap for a day or two, but they bounce back pretty fast. The one thing that I always find is anytime I end up on set, I get a hair person telling me that they either find paint or plaster in my hair. And I can't get free of that one. I can't. Yeah, I need to put my hair back more too. Maybe wear like a shower cap or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I guess that's true. Longer hair, it's going to get into everything.
Oh yeah. Always paint or plaster every time.
Yeah. I'm so impressed with that. I think that's really cool that you're doing that and you're actually sharing that
Yeah,
with
I've
people. So
started sharing.
you've advanced to that point where now you can share it.
Right. It was way too time consuming during the time where I was doing the bulk of the renovation. I was barely keeping my head above water. I was so in over my head. But once I got kind of a handle on things, I started finding more time to share, and it's been really fun.
Yeah, because you got to juggle that with auditions and things, I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
So I know you've been acting for a while, but it has to be different when you get a role in such a big project coming up. So you're in the movie Air. So what is Air about? What's your role in?
Yeah. So Air is about Nike in the 80s, and
Yep.
specifically Sonny Vaccaro and Phil Knight, and how they got Michael Jordan to come on, and kind of the start of Air Jordans and how it all came about. And it's such a great story, and it's they do such a great job of telling it. I play a secretary in the Nike office. So it was super fun, going back to the 80s for that.
Yeah.
Um, and it was crazy showing up to set with those guys every day. It was
Well, so Sonny is played by Matt Damon, right? And you're kind of his, I don't know, right hand, whatever.
I'm a secretary. You'll see. I can't give anything away, but I'm a secretary uh they call it to Sunny. You'll see why that's funny when you watch it. But yeah, I work with Jason Bateman, who plays Rob Strasser, another VP of marketing in the Nike offices. And yeah, it was a great group of people to
I mean,
be.
what was that like getting that role? Because those are some big names. I mean, Ben Affleck's in it as well.
It was wild. I got the role off of one self-tape audition, and found out I was filming a couple weeks later, and it was supposed to be one day of work. And I get the call sheet the night before. I don't know who's playing Strasser yet, because all I know is that it's a Ben and Matt project. And I get the call sheet the night before, and it says Jason Bateman right next to my name. And you know, it definitely took a minute to process that information. But like it's like he's the best scene partner you could possibly ask for. He's so wonderful at what he does. And it's always a little I've had both experiences showing up to set where I'm in most of the scenes, for weeks
Yeah.
on end, and the experience where I'm showing up with one scene for a day, and it's 100% harder to show up with one scene.
Yeah.
Because you don't have time to kind of fall into it. It's like you have this one moment and you feel like you have a ton to prove, but you're trying to prove nothing because that's the last thing you want to be thinking about. So just putting that all aside. And Jason was amazing. He came up to me, ran lines with me before, made me feel super comfortable. And then after he went out of his way to come up to me and, tell me how hard it is to come on, like I'm saying, with just,
Yeah.
that amount of work on a project like this, and how I did such a great job showing restraint, and actors tend to want to overdo it, and how I just
Yeah.
I did such great
Well,
work.
good
And
for him for recognizing,
it was so
that
nice.
that's a thing, because obviously he's probably been in the same boat at some point in his career.
Oh yeah, and he's working with a lot of actors too who are coming on for just a day or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So that was so nice of him. And then it ended up turning into, I was going back for 3 weeks. So it was so
You must
fun. I
have
got
done
every day to
okay.
watch them. Yeah, I got yeah. Yeah, it was really nice. So
I'm so excited to see the movie. I mean, they normally do not make a bad,
oh
you
yeah.
know, all their movies are good, but
Great.
this particular one I think is really interesting just because of that whole, behind the scenes with Michael Jordan and the shoes, and that I think that's a really interesting story. So I could see why they would want to make that.
The story is so great, and they do such a good job of telling it. And
Yeah.
I love the part about, how they kind of brought in Viola, his mom, and how Michael Jordan's mom became such an important character in the story after Ben talked to Michael, and kind of learned about what a big role she played in this whole thing. And so that's my favorite part about the movie is Viola, and how they kind of give her that moment, that credit, and what she did for sports and sports marketing, and kind of getting athletes
Yeah.
compensated for.
Who was directing?
Ben Affleck was
Yeah, that's
directing.
what I thought. That's what
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, he did a great job.
Yeah, I was going to ask you because he's had some experience doing that, and I'd always heard he was pretty good to work on set with as an actor, but also as a director. So I was going to ask you
Yeah, I
about
think
that.
it's always great when you have an actor as a director, because they know what it's like to be on both sides, and they know what is helpful for them to hear
Yeah.
when when they're in the actor's seat. So he gets actors, and he's able to kind of pull out the best in them.
Yeah. How did the cast just as a whole get along?
Great. I mean, honestly, just with the crew and the cast, I've never been a part of a more seamless production. Everything ran so smoothly. And I was just so impressed by the whole thing. I mean, they've obviously worked together a lot. So they all kind of know their role, and everything. It's like a machine. Everybody, with that many people working on something, you'd think it would be absolute chaos, but it was just the most well-run set that I've ever been on, and
Wow.
things ran so smoothly. Everyone got along great, and there was no ego, and it was just kind of like it was awesome.
That's pretty great. How was the food?
The food was great. The food is always great. Isn't that always the best part of a shoot, is the food? Yeah, food's always great.
I got to moderate for William Shatner when he came into town. He does a little one man show, and I got to go and kind of be the go-between between him. It was really just me feeding him a couple questions, and then he talked for half an hour. It wasn't too bad. But that's the first time I had ever received a dressing room with something. That's a big deal.
Oh,
when you
yeah.
get your own trailer or a little room or something. I just, you go in there and there's like, it's just a room. It's just a room. But I was like, but it's my room.
It's your room. It's dedicated to you. And the food hits a little more special too when it's all provided. And
well, my one guilty pleasure is Diet Coke. I love Diet Coke. And I'll have to say that the Diet Coke in that dressing room tasted a little better.
I think so. It must. It has to.
I think if you're going to work on something that's obviously stressful, I mean that's stressful going in working on a big project, you should get some amenities.
Yes, 100%. It's all part of the experience,
Have you ever done voice work?
A bit, not as much voiceover work. I did back on when I was living in London. I did a little voiceover for this older movie called Hoodlum and Son. That was my first experience. They used my whistle too. It was a lot of like voiceover kids talking and all that, and I'm able to do the loudest whistle with my fingers.
Oh yeah, that's impressive too.
That came in handy. I used my whistle for a voiceover all the time.
You must have had a loud whistle.
It's a loud one. Yeah. My mother taught me. She has the loudest whistle on earth. And I remember one day growing up, we were at the park and we spent 30 minutes her teaching me how to whistle. And I was determined, and I finally got it. And
That's good
definitely comes in handy sometime. Yeah, it does come in handy.
It'll come in handy when your kids grow older and you need to get them back quickly. Yes,
100%, like a dog.
Well, so when your mom would whistle like that for you, that wasn't necessarily a bad thing, or was it, I better get home?
No, she would whistle for the dog. She would be like, whenever we had the dog out at the park, you'd whistle and they just come sprinting back to you. So that was
a loud whistle like that. How could they not?
Yeah. That's what it's useful for.
So what's next from here? I mean, this was a big role. The movie comes out, I think, next week, right? Like April 5th.
April 5th.
Yeah, it's coming fast. I can't believe we're in April.
I know. It's wild.
It's like 2020 took like 5 years to get through, but since then it has been flying.
Yeah. Especially with this weather, it feels like it should be warmer by now.
Yeah. But yeah, so what's next? Is there a genre that you'd like to get into that you haven't got to do? Are you working more on the do-it-yourself stuff? What's next?
Yeah, I'm auditioning. Hopefully, things will start getting busier here now. And I am working on a show that I'm writing about a handy woman and a Finnish carpenter, and kind of what it's like to navigate society's expectations of you in a male-dominated industry, kind of based on my stories and experiences in that world. And so I'm working on writing the pilot for that now. I created kind of a teaser, a little web series that's on my Instagram. It's 6 shorter episodes. Are
you starring in them?
Oh yes, I am the Mac of all trades. I have written for myself. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. So hopefully I'll, finish that and then make it. But I'd love to.
Have you like through the course of learning to do all of this carpentry and that type of stuff, have you faced that type? Is it always I got to prove it that I can do it because I'm a woman? Nobody ever thinks that women can do anything. Did you kind of go through some of that stuff?
I think that's a part of it. I love proving people wrong. That's definitely got to be in there.
Yeah.
I kind of love getting that reaction and I've gotten it a lot of like, what, you're gonna do this? And then I'm like, heck yeah, I am. Watch me. I love that
It
feeling.
always makes me wonder how many people missed out on something that they were really good at just
Yeah,
because they didn't think it was something they were supposed to do.
I know. I wonder the same thing all the time. Just like the tools we're given and, what we're kind of shown that we're capable of. And I love, I have a 3-year-old too. So I love, she's really into building now.
That's awesome.
She has a little tool bench in her room, and whenever I'm working on projects down in the garage, she's getting her little scrap pieces of wood and trying to nail them together, and she's just obsessed. And I love getting to show her that she's capable of doing that type of work too. So that's kind of, I would love to
Yeah.
see all of this turned into that, and kind of showing other people, women, whoever, that they can do things like
Yeah.
this.
I mean, it's pretty neat. If you do it while she's growing up, she'll be getting into that type of thing a lot quicker, a lot sooner than what you did. It's hard to tell what she'll be able to do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's so
Yeah,
fun.
it's exciting. So if it gets made, somebody picks it up, they make it into a TV series or a movie or something like that, and they tell you, well, we want somebody different to play the lead. Then who would you want?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question. That's too
Matt
hard.
Damon.
Yeah, Matt Damon, definitely. Gosh, I can't pick. I'd go somewhere else with this one. There's some things that you write and you're able to kind of step back and, okay, great. It's just something I'll sell and I'll move on. This is one of those things that I can't. I'm too closely connected
Yeah,
to
you're
it.
too into it.
I have to do it. So
Well, so is it going to be
whatever it
more of
takes.
a comedy or more drama?
Yeah, it's a cross. I don't know if you've seen like the show Love on Netflix,
Oh
or
yeah, love
Dave.
loves.
Yeah, or Dave on Hulu. It's kind of like a cross between those
Is
where
Dave
comedy.
ever going to have another season?
I think so. It's got to. That's such a good show.
It's such a good show.
So good. So yeah, it's kind of like a cross between that. It's a comedy, but there's kind of some heavier things going on in there too.
Are there any volleyball playing going?
No, my husband wishes. He's always
You're not
asked.
going to write him in for a cameo?
Yeah, he says, yeah, no, I probably will need to. He has done some extra work on some of them. If you go and see my my Mac of all trades web series that I have on my Instagram, you can potentially spot him in the background there somewhere.
Very nice.
He's not opposed to doing extra work for me. And he always likes to brag about the fact that he took an improv class in Hollywood. Because he just for the fun of it.
Improv's not easy.
It's not easy, and it's good for everyone. It really is good practice, just in terms of like speaking on your toes and just
Well, it makes you more comfortable, I
anyone.
think, just interacting with people.
Yeah.
Which a lot of us struggle with.
Yes, I would highly suggest an improv class for anyone in any job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely use it, but it won't happen.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Maybe
I'm one of those that I'm very introverted unless I'm really comfortable.
Yes.
And then I can be kind of an extrovert.
I'm the same. I would say that I'm the same like you. Yeah.
I think a lot of actors are like that, which surprised me when I first started doing this podcast. It's, they're able to come out of it because they're in a role.
Yeah.
But just them being themselves, they're kind of introverted.
So true.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's. Did I see you? Am I remembering right? Did you do an episode maybe of Animal Kingdom?
Yes, I did.
I
A
thought
few
you
episodes
did.
of Animal Kingdom. Yeah.
Yeah, it took me a little bit. I've been trying to think of what the show was, but yeah. That's a good show.
Yeah, it's a great show. It's over, unfortunately, but
well, it lasted a while.
It did. Yeah. Yeah. At a certain point, you got to finish it off, you know?
I know, and we always struggle with that because it's a fine line. When is it 1 year too much?
Mm-hmm.
You're probably better off ending it early.
I would think.
Schitt's Creek ended, I think, too early. Most of us would have loved another season,
I
but he
agree.
probably did it right.
I agree. Schitt's Creek is such a great show.
Oh my gosh, that was one we were late to it, but we picked it up during the
I
pandemic.
was late to it. I was in the boat where I watched an episode and then I didn't keep going because I didn't realize how good it gets, you know?
Yeah, see, we did the same thing. We tried it when it first came out. We watched an
Yeah.
episode and we're like, these
Yeah.
people are terrible.
Yeah.
But then everybody kept talking about, we're like, okay, we'll try again.
Yeah.
But and you start out that way and you're like, I don't like these people. But then like by the third episode, you're like, I love these people so much.
How it goes. So fun.
They're so quirky.
Yeah. They're so quirky.
It's well written though, because there's a lot of heart
The characters
in
are
it. And it's
so
neat
good.
seeing, each character grow as the series goes on. I thought it was really well done.
I agree.
But yeah, it'd been great if they could have done another year or two.
I think you're right. That is such a fine line. It's hard to say.
Yeah, it's tough because you can definitely go too far, and we've seen, especially with sitcoms, you see that a lot with sitcoms. They kind of reach that point where they probably should have ended, and they end up going 2 or 3 years too long, and show drops off.
I've been watching New Girl back over again.
Yeah. And does it hold up?
It's so good.
I love the episode where he's like, all day.
Oh yeah. I am laughing out loud and crying every single episode of that show. I just find it so genius. But that one does go on for so long, and it has to change throughout the course of it. But I think it works till the very end. It's so good.
Yeah, it's a good show. I always have to have some comedy that I can play in, when I'm doing something that I know it so well that I don't even need to look up, and I know
exactly.
So I've been through Big Bang. I went through The Office. I'm going through Parks and Rec right now. So New Girl will come up at some point because I'll be looking.
That's got to be next. Yeah, it's such a good one.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Is there a genre that you haven't done that you would like to do?
Sitcom. Yeah. I would.
We need more sitcoms.
I love it so much. It's the thing I watch the most. It's not necessarily the thing that I like strive to do the most in my career, but I would love to do it at some point. I really love it. It's just such a different thing, but it's such a fun format. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's what we went through a period where we were kind of low on comedies, period. But now we're getting comedies, but the sitcom, we don't get too many of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you could write one about, a do-it-yourself person.
Oh yeah. We got multiple versions of this possibility. That's the tough thing when you come up with an idea. There's so many different ways to go about it. But I'm excited for.
Is it harder to write it or to market it?
Whew. They're both so challenging. Yeah.
There's so many talented people out there that have just amazing things that they've created, but then they never get made for whatever reason.
Right.
Yeah, it's really difficult. But if you can find the right fit and get it out there,
that person who trusts you, who believes in you, So it's just about creating that network of people,
See, I probably couldn't be a writer or an actor because I'd be on a big set with somebody and I'd be like, I've got this script.
Yeah, I know. It takes so much restraint not to, but I try not to do that,
Yeah. Now, if somebody asks you though,
oh yeah,
have you ever written anything? Well, as just
it's funny you should ask. Yeah. Every time. Yeah.
You open my bag up, I might have a copy. I don't know.
Yeah. Always.
Your buddy Jason.
Oh
maybe
yeah.
he could help out.
You never know.
He'd be a good homeowner that you had to go fix something.
Yeah. Are you thinking of his Ozark character?
That's true. He's
Good one.
I've always heard he is just absolutely terrific to work with. I had a good friend that worked with him on Teen Wolf 2 when
Yeah.
he back way back when he was more of a child actor and stuff. And they said he was just so down to earth, amazing.
Yeah, 100%. He's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Well, Gabrielle, thank you so much. This has been terrific. I'm excited to see the movie. That's going to be fun. Are you going as a family to go see it?
I took my husband to the premiere the other night.
Nice.
It was really fun getting to watch it with him because he's in that world. And he absolutely loved it. So that was really fun. And yeah, we'll take the family next week when they come. I'm trying to decide whether it's appropriate to take my 3-year-old daughter to the movie theater, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think as long as it's not violent, I think it's probably fine because they'll miss the parts that they should miss.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. There's that age though, like where they get old enough where they can recognize stuff.
Yeah.
That's when it gets a little dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Where did they hold the premiere?
It was at Westlake Village Theater.
I don't know that one. I guess that's on probably Westlake, I'm guessing.
Westwood, yeah.
Westwood, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it was at the Chinese theater. But,
oh, no, not that one.
Yeah, because I know that one because I stay a lot there at the Roosevelt.
Yeah.
The Chinese theater right across the street. But yeah, that's pretty neat. Was that your first premiere?
That was my first premiere with the red carpet event. Yeah.
So how did you do the outfit? Like, because that would stress me out. Like your first time, because who do you call to help you out with that, or do you just try to put something together yourself?
I just tried to put something together. I actually ended up DIY dyeing my outfit red. I found something that I loved. I was like, I gotta go bolder for a color here. So I shared that on my Instagram.
That's impressive.
Dyed the whole thing. I had no idea what color it was going to turn out. I ended up matching the carpet, but it was perfect. It was fun.
But it turned out.
It did. It worked out. I wore it.
Yeah, that's impressive because usually if you dye something, it's going to be spotty or it's going to have different shades.
Well, I used this RIT dye and I just followed the instructions on Google, which is what I do for all my projects. And it worked out. And it's cool because I feel like this will be huge. It's like kind of a huge move in terms of sustainability and being able to rewear clothes now. Now I can dye it black, wear it over and over again.
That's true because you're not supposed to wear the same thing to different events.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, it really does come in handy. There's so many possibilities now.
Yeah, I like that. It's always made me wonder, where do people know to go to get their clothes for those big events? I mean, once you're established, I get it because then people are probably reaching out to you.
They have showrooms and stuff. I did go to a showroom for South by Southwest, and they let you pick stuff out, which is fun. But this one I ended up going with a DIY version of it, and it was really fun. I'm glad
That's
I did.
Awesome. Yeah. So a couple of things, Gabrielle, before we wrap up, anything else outside of your own project that you're working on that we can keep an eye out?
Mac of all trades is the main thing that I've got my attention on right now. And then just, one DIY project after another, which I'll be sharing on my Instagram. I'm going to tackle that stone veneer wall soon. And then some other outdoor spaces, building some outdoor furniture, stuff like that.
See, I love that because if the acting part is kind of slow, you've got all this stuff to keep you busy.
Oh yeah.
Or vice versa, I guess.
It really fills my cup. Yeah. It's definitely a balancing act because it's so easy to get caught up in the DIY stuff because it's just, I can do it all by myself.
What's hands-on, you probably get some instant gratification type of stuff, as you finish.
Gratifying. It's very fulfilling. Whereas, the acting is just a lot more behind the scenes work. You don't get to see a finished product quite as much. So, I gotta find my balancing act, but I'm fine.
I mean, this role it's a big role in a big film that has to help you going forward.
Yeah, I will see, I think it could be great in terms of just getting more opportunities.
Yeah.
And all that. So I'm excited to see what's next for
I mean,
sure.
if you can say, Jason Bateman said I did a good job.
Yeah, that's pretty good, right?
You should hire me.
Yeah. I love it.
So where can we find you on social?
My Instagram is Gabby GABBY_Bourne BOURNE. That's where I'm sharing to most these days.
I would like to see you do a YouTube channel where you are reenacting scenes from the Bourne movies.
I'll put that one on my to-do list. I love it.
I would watch that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Love it.
I think that would be pretty good. Well, Gabrielle, thank you so much for coming on. You have to come back next time, or when you get maybe when you get your project made. You got to come back and share that.
I would love that. Thank you so much for having me. It's been fun chatting.
It has been fun. Okay, hold on one second. Thank you so much. Well, how great was that? Actress Gabrielle Bourne. You guys that have watched this show for a while know that at times I missed the pause button. So I missed it right there at the end. So I'm assuming that that Brett will get that edited up. But if he doesn't, that's what happened. I missed the pause. Thank you guys so much for tuning in again. This time, I definitely don't take that for granted. There's so many things out there for you to watch, so many podcasts, clamoring for attention. Really appreciate it when you choose us. If you're finding us for the first time and you'd like to support us, we could definitely use that support. Real easy to do. It's free. All we ask is that you subscribe. That really helps us out. That's kind of the currency that we use to entice people to come on the show. So the more subscribers we have, the easier sometimes it is to get guests. So that'll really help us out. If you prefer to watch, it's YouTube, MeisterCon Pod. Just hit subscribe. If you're listening, just wherever you listen to your podcast app, whatever application you're using, just subscribe there. That'll help us as well. We are up to episode 555. Can't believe it. But you can watch all of those or listen on our website, meistercon.com. If we're doing anything in studio, if we're going on location, if we're covering a convention, whatever we have going on, that'll be on the website, meistercon.com. Thank you guys so much. Until next time. Bye, everybody.